Aries, it's Romy here. Thank you for tuning into the channel. This is your May 2021 soul story. So if you've got a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, you might find this general reading just gives you a little bit of heads up to the energies in the next few weeks. So we are coming into Taurus season and we open up with the energy of the Knight of Pentacles. There's a huge emphasis for you this month with the influence of that second house on the concept of value and how that directly impacts your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-respect, and then the way in which that impacts the relationships that you have, not only with your material possessions and resources, your money story if you like, your story to abundance in all of its forms, but also in the relationships of the people in your life, both personally and professionally. And the suggestion here from this night is, you know what, there's a little work to do here. There's a little work to do, because just because we can do more doesn't mean that we have to. You know, when we feel like we have to hustle or earn every breadcrumb or earn every compliment or fight for recognition or validation, you know, it's a continuous kind of hamster wheel that at some point we have to step back from and say, if we elevate how we perceive ourselves, then the growth and the way forward and the investment that we want to make should always be into the self, not looking at anyone or anything outside of ourselves. And when that is buoyant and healthy and on a trajectory of moving forward in a really positive, expansive way, then automatically the people, the currency, the energy currency of money and love and time and health, vitality and well-being has to raise along with it, has to raise. And so the work that we're doing this month, the observations that we're making, the ability to get curious and to put things in place that are going to support us are all really rooted in this idea about this concept of value and how it's affecting you. Now, the Knight of Pentacles can come in and also remind us that sometimes we have to put the work in order to achieve or to get to where we want to go. And so I also see that you're kind of willing and able to put your hands up this month and say, you know what, this is worth the effort for me. This is worth the investment. And I think that it is something that you are taking more seriously in some ways, because the shift of what's happened for you in the last few weeks and months in terms of what you now want in your life and what your aspirations are, have shed some old ideas and patterning, and through that there feels like there's a newfound determination and a sense of wanting to persevere, to get yourself out of a situation, to move forward, to bring about a shift. And I really feel that you're going to start to see the seeds emerging from some of that focus and some of that change in your thought forms, yeah? So the journey back home to yourself has probably not been one that has been particularly comfortable, but at the same time it has been worth it, because right now we are emerging into higher timelines, higher energies, and with that comes a much greater degree of clarity. Now, there's a flood of information making its way towards you through the course of this month, because even from the 3rd we've got Mercury moving into the sign of Gemini, and then Venus moves into the sign on the 8th. Now, here we like variety. You know, things can be quite fickle, but they can be fast moving. Your Wheel of Fortune here, almost in, complete contrast to the sort of slower moving, grounded quality of the Knight of Pentacles, comes in and sort of churns everything up and says, you know what, cycles are about to change here. Fate's about to step in and really invite in new opportunities and open some doors for you. I quite like that you will be in the energy of that night to be able to receive it, because what it suggests to me is that you'll be grounded enough to see with a sense of certainty what is right for you, and also be in a position to say yes, because you've been doing this work and understanding that actually, yes, I deserve this opportunity, or yes, I'm ready for this, or even if it's a stretch, I know my value and so I'm prepared to take it, I'm prepared to go there. You know, Taurus wants us to connect deeply into our physical body and to reconnect and ground ourselves to the earth, because this is where we can derive nourishment and pleasure, and it can feel more tactile and real and tangible to us. And so then when the wheel comes in, which does deliver beautiful, bountiful blessings, now this links into Jupiter, and Jupiter moves into Pisces on the 13th, and there are going to be some sweet rewards coming in around that time. It's just after the new moon in Taurus on the 11th. And so it's a fantastic opportunity from any kind of manifesting perspective to really go big. You know, Jupiter amplifies everything that it touches. So here what we're seeing is that some interesting surprising opportunities, fated moments, synchronicity might be at play quite powerfully during that time in the month. And the work that you have done and are doing is going to put you in a prime position to be able to receive that. But you need to get curious about some of the storylines that are playing out for you. Now this month we've got the full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius happening on the 26th. This is the third in the storyline. So go back to the 5th of June last year and also the 14th of December and see what you were dealing with around that time. What were the themes that were going on energetically? Because this is about to be the final chapter for you, and it's going to bring about a release and a shift in some way. You know, eclipses break down, they break through, they break open, and often things happen in threes around this time, so pay attention to that as well. But with that Wheel of Fortune stepping through mid-month, it could be like the early signs of like bigger shifts that are about to happen for you. Two of Cups, for some of you, it may be very focused in and around relationships and what changes are coming through either on a personal or a professional basis. You might be aligning with somebody who is very, very in tune with you. You know, they almost look like twins here. And as we come into Gemini season, which really invites us to consider that aspect of twin energy, of duality, of you know, understanding the mirror opposites, and there is just, for me, this I think quite surprising. It feels like you're surprised, Aries, at how well you align with somebody, how similar they feel, how much your energies blend or fuse, or there's just something that seems to really click, really connect. And that person may well be coming really out of the blue, you know, with this wheel that comes round in connection to the Two of Cups. We'll see how this continues to play out through the read, but I have a sense of just like really unexpected connections coming in for you. Now, they will be on different levels. For some of you, this, you know, might not be romantic. Two of Cups is often sometimes just bringing in people that can be very advantageous for us, and we can come into real harmony and unity and partnership, and we want to devote time and energy towards them and what they have to offer and how they can help and support us. And your Eight of Pentacles does suggest to me that for some of you this might really actually be coming in on a professional capacity, because there's this aspect of learning here. I love that she's painting her butterfly, because this is also a guide that talks about self-mastery. Yeah, it's about the self-mastery of things, and we allow the metamorphosis, we allow the transition, but we're aware there's more work to do here, just like we said with your Knight of Pentacles. So you're on a journey right now, and you appreciate where you've got to at this moment, and that's really important. I think we need to stop and just take a moment to reflect actually how far you've come. And you also need to remember that, you know, it's necessary at times to kind of let go of the need to explain or to justify yourself. Often that's the ego speaking, because it wants validation. It wants to prove all the time, and that's not where we're at in terms of how you see yourself just now. So when we come at it from a higher perspective, there's just a more of a quiet, still energy here about her learning, improving her craft, like focusing on that self-improvement so that she can increase her value and therefore bring back into the relationships, the connections that she has to abundance and, you know, to the people in her life, a real sense of wisdom and understanding and knowledge that's going to be advantageous, you know, not just to you but to other people as well. I really like this for you. It's very, very sure. it's very sure in its focus. So I think some of you, if you have felt a little bit wayward or a little bit disconnected or struggling to kind of identify what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be doing it, there's much more of a sense of that kind of coming together for you a little bit. Okay, we've got King of Pentacles coming in, more earth energy. Could be a Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. Of course, in Taurus season, we're also invited to think about our emotional security and where we derive that from. And if it comes from stuff, you know, if it's like I feel secure when, you know, I've got the nice car, or I've got the home that I want, or I'm able to buy the things that, you know, feel good to me. There's nothing wrong with that. Our relationship to material resources, you know, can demonstrate our ability to be able to receive abundance. So we're not here to kind of critique that, but what we are here to also ask of you, because we have this aspect of self-mastery going on and this devotion to the self, is to say, you know, is your emotional stability impacted by the ebb and flow of these things in your life? If all of that was taken away tomorrow, would you still feel secure within who you are and knowing that you are just in a cause and effect situation with, you know, transition? Or are you defined by these things? And I think the King of Pentacles is having that interesting conversation with you. I also think that the people that are coming through have the opportunity to offer you something that feels quite sustainable, and it feels quite committed, you know. There's also a generosity that comes through with this King of Pentacles. I love all of the yellow flowers around it. It's suggestive of hope, of optimism, for me, directly linking into our solar plexus, giving us that sense of intuitive trust towards this person as well. I feel like you are more than ready to elevate yourself, to start to have different type of conversations with different types of people, because that's where you're going to start to see some major growth in your life through the course of this month. So if you can kind of push yourself out the comfort zone a little bit and take advantage of the sociability and the curiosity that Gemini energy is going to bring in, right throughout this month, it's going to work wonders for you in terms of advancement of networking and just allowing yourself to really progress much more rapidly perhaps than you thought you were going to. Now we've got the energy of the King of Swords coming in, which of course is an air sign, either Libra, Aquarius or Gemini. She has this needle and it's got like a star at the end, and you know, the thread kind of looping around here. So the journey that she's been on, as she's kind of sown seeds of intention and information all along the journey, at the right place at the right time. There's just something about, you see, I feel this is someone else showing up on your path, right time, right place, with the exact piece of information that you need to create something totally new in your world. Interesting. Okay, so this might come through by way of you just receiving a phenomenal idea and somebody just like delivering it to you. You're still the one that's going to have to make it happen, but they give you the inspiration or the wisdom for it. By way of relationships, I think you're getting some clear understanding about what it is that you need to do yourself to enable something to change or something to shift. It's like you get that absolute laser precision. I love the King of Swords for that. It can be so discerning and just going right to the detail. The devil is in the detail, and he's going to take you there with a non-emotional attachment to situations. So he's just going to call it as it is, going to be really truthful with you. And there's no picking sides here. It's just this energy coming, and you know, this might come in by way of just signs or, you know, something spiritual, not necessarily even a person that's stepping forward, but what they deliver is something that's right on point for you, right on point for you. And I think what you do with that is you can create, look at this beautiful dress that she's wearing, this gorgeous ball gown that's been created from, you know, all of the sewing of these intentions and the clarity of this information and the stitches of knowledge and wisdom that kind of come together. So something exceptionally valuable can be made and created from this unfolding and set of situations that are happening. Now, bear in mind, we're coming into retrograde energy through May. So on the 23rd, Saturn turns, and whenever these planets station direct or retrograde, they can be a bit upheavaling. Yeah, they can challenge us a little bit. And then we've got Mercury going retrograde on the 29th, so it's in Gemini from like the May 3rd right through to the 22nd of June. It likes to be there. It's the ruler of the sign, and so therefore as a retrograde goes, it's perhaps not as problematic or as difficult or as emotionally upheavaling as what you might have experienced in some of the other signs. And certainly Gemini air works really well for you. It's very initiatory in terms of it sparks things. That's what I want to say. It just sparks things for you. That third house, it's like, you know, a flurry of communication, helping you get your message across and communicate in ways that are going to be really valuable for you. 10 of Wands is showing us here. Now she's got too much on her plate, yeah, too much that is sort of bearing down on her back here, and yet they're flowers in bloom. So it's like, has it been valuable? Yes, it has. Has it been difficult? You bet it has. Like I said, the journey back home to yourself was not without pain and discomfort. But what comes as a result of that is a recognition that what you've created is nothing short of a miracle in your own life. You know, you've grown these things from seedlings into this point where they're coming into fruition, and you're almost there and you're ready to set them down. And when you do, they're all going to take bloom. You know, and you're going to create this beautiful garden. So even though you may be feeling like you have too much on your plate, too many responsibilities, too much by way of obligation, all of it has served you in one way or another. It's either helped to progress and advance you, or it's shown you very, very clearly where you need to start saying no, how you need to start getting better boundaries or more assertive, or actually start to consider the way in which you look at your value. Are you doing lots of things at a small amount rather than, you know, shifting a pricing strategy? Or are you saying yes to a lot of people that never give back, and then you can focus your efforts on the smaller group of people who do give that level of reciprocation for you? So there's some really interesting dynamics that I think you're going to be considering as a result of that. But what I do want to say is, don't look back with regret on this, and don't look at it as a really heavy situation. I actually think that this is really positive by way of the indication and the point of culmination that's coming through, because it's right beneath, you know, the 8 of Pentacles. So it's about the self-mastery. It's about what you've been working hard towards, you know. And then we get fate stepping in to deliver you a better sense of stability and security, helping you to create your own masterpiece, because you understand the information that's coming towards you and how it's impacting you on all of these relationship levels. Perseverance is going to be important. King of Wands, okay, this fire energy reminiscent of Sagittarius, Leo, of course yourself. He's beating the drum and there's flames flying beautifully from this. Very clear, again, focused about where he wants to be, what he wants to do, how he can help. The vision that he's got right now, he wants to share this music. You know, this drum beating is like let's rally the troops, let's get everybody together, let's talk to them about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So there's this energy that's coming in for you through the course of this month that might be helpful if you are trying to move things forward by way of any kind of group dynamic or team or a family situation, or, you know, just friendships. It's just like to allow the growth of something to happen. There's a tremendous amount of passion and vigor and intensity and energy. And of course, remember, these eclipses coming in, especially in fire signs, are intense. Going to be intense, and the emotions are going to be high. And so whether this is you or representative of a situation or someone else, there is very high emotion here, and it's very loud. People are going to be speaking loudly. Opinions will be spoken wildly and loudly. So be prepared for that. At the same time, though, it can be very activating and very progressive in what can get done. And I think that's something to really embrace, because as you have improved that whole idea of the value of who you are and what you have to bring to situations, and then you combine that with the grounded earth energy that's supportive here, and the passion of this King of Wands, like I think you can really achieve some beautiful things for yourself, and in situations that have felt difficult or a little bit stagnant, shall we say. Now, you need to remember Mars in Cancer, still at the moment, is a little bit tricky and doesn't let us away with not acknowledging some of the things that drain our energy a little bit. And so you might feel, particularly with the retrograde and Saturn being retrograde as well, that feeling of like having to put pause on something. So it's like we get all geared up, we get all excited, things are changing, things are happening, new opportunities have shown up, and then all of a sudden the universe goes, stop, wait a minute, we haven't yet dealt with this one thing, and we're not going to let you move forward until you do. And you've got that, no, I'll get to that. And the universe is saying, no, you won't. You'll deal with it now. And so that's kind of where this Hanged Man comes in for me. It's like a little bit of the tough love of Saturn, even though it's not really connected to the Sun. That's what I'm picking up with it. It's like that Saturnian, I will just hold you in this holding pattern while you acknowledge, face, deal, and work through this, because otherwise it is literally like having the hole in the boat. It's going to keep leaking. And the more busy you get, the more progressive things are, the improvements that you start to see, you're going to have this like slow leak that's just going to keep draining away. And you might not notice it. You might not notice it right now or in the days or weeks or even months to come. But at some point, you'll realize that there's like this kind of elephant in the room, shall we say. So bear this in mind in relation to any situation or relationships or things that are occurring through this month. If there's something you know you need to deal with, please try to deal with it now so that it won't drain and impact your energy moving forward. And when you feel the kind of almost, the best way to describe it is it will come through as almost like a feeling of heaviness and resistance and like wanting to slow you down. And it will feel perhaps at odds to everything else that's going on around you. And so you'll grapple with it a little bit, going like, why do I feel like I just don't want to do this, or I don't want, even though everything is geared up towards it, or I really want to be with this person, but yet right now I feel like I have to be alone. So it's going to come in an unusual way, but it's going to be the invitation to slow down, because there's something that we need to acknowledge and deal with. And you are going to kind of look, you can see the zip is being pulled down and there's like blue sky behind this, okay? So it's not, even if it might be challenging, ultimately it's delivering a positive, expansive, progressive solution for you in some regard, okay? So don't fight it, let it flow, let it happen. All right, let's take a look and see how the flower medicine cards want to join this conversation for you. Okay, you have the orchid and fertility. So much that's happening on a creative level through the course of this month is really exciting. And I think if you can turn your attention to where things feel like they are just about to come into bloom, or there's like a shift in their energy, they're going to want some focus and they're going to want some nourishment. We need to soul tend, we need to take care of the things that are in our garden, because they're really going to deliver for us year after year after year if we take the time to do that. And that includes in the relationship sense, it includes the way you're taking care of your body, especially when we put some focus and emphasis in and around our sacral chakra. It feels like that's going to be exceptionally important for you this month, Aries. It's the place of where all of that creative muse energy comes from. It of course impacts on our sexual energy. It impacts on the value that we have to, and the value that we attach to things. And so we can get that sense of empowerment to allow the fertility to move through in the way that it wants to in our life, when we make sure that we keep nourishing and taking care of it in the way that it needs to. The orchid as well gives me this sense of something being quite beautiful and wild and exotic. And so I want to say there's like an exotic feel to something through the course of this month. Maybe it's to somebody that you're going to meet. Maybe it's to a desire that you have for something to be really different. Maybe it's an allure to a place that feels quite exotic. If you're making plans for opening up around travel, which will start to happen more and more through Gemini season, even though we're in retrograde, it's less problematic in the sign of Gemini than it would be in other signs, by way of impacting on our travel plans. But certainly this idea of something feeling quite wild and exotic can also be interesting, and we want you to be curious about it. I think there's also going to be some decisions that you have around major possessions. So you might even be considering selling like big items or making major investments for bigger ticket things, you know, homes, cars, like just big big spending things that I feel are going to come through. Okay, your High Priestess light is the divine feminine, magnetic, receptive power. You know, when we have a healthy sense of respect and self-esteem and self-worth, then we allow a really powerful reciprocal energy exchange to happen in our life. And that will show us by mirroring to us our levels of abundance and how we are able to enjoy and appreciate the things that surround us. It gives us an invitation to allow ourselves to enjoy pleasure and desire in a new way, because we're completely at peace with knowing that there is always more. You know, from a place of scarcity, we feel like we never can take time off. We can never enjoy time with loved ones or friends or doing the things that we love, because we feel like we have to keep pushing and striving and hustling and craving. So this divine feminine is inviting you to tap into, you know, your own inner wealth, what you have that can create that sense of peace and stability and power around you, and allow so much of this to make its way towards you. Okay. Right, we have the astrological cards. Let's just see what they want to bring. Okay, we have the 9th house, spiritual growth. Now, of course, the Sagittarius full moon lunar eclipse rules the 9th house, and it is about you expanding your horizons, but it's also about all of this self-mastery that's going on right now, and how you are realizing that you are in effect creating your own luck. You are meeting fate in the moment that you are destined to, because of the spiritual growth that you are allowing to take place right now. It also indicates that situations and experiences and challenges that you will be put through in the course of May are going to be very significant for your spiritual growth. So a level of I hasten to say appreciation, because you might not all feel appreciative of some of the experiences that come in. Certainly eclipses can kind of can be quite challenging to deal with. However, in retrospect and hindsight, you will find aspects of what you've been through and how it's changed and strengthened and forced you to acknowledge some of these more tricky emotional parts of what's been going on. I think you're going to really value. Okay, Aries, this is a general reading. If you want to join me for the extended version, we're going to talk for another 20 minutes or so. Going to put some clarifying cards down right now. I'm going to invite you to just think about a question I might not have answered in the main spread. Pull a couple of cards for that just now. You can find the link for the extended in the description box in the comment section underneath. So let's just start with this Knight of Pentacles, coming in with the Page of Cups. And the Six of Cups, bit of a trip down memory lane happening here. Of course, we know retrogrades often bring people back from the past. There's a need for some introspection and internal dialogue to take place. Maybe feeling a little conflicted. We'll have a look at that in the extended. So we have the Two of Pentacles here. And the energy of the Lovers. Oh, very big decisions and choices coming in here. Page of Wands. Choices and decisions about which directions to go in. Chariot. Nice. Seven of Cups, Ten of Cups. Lots of proposals are coming your way this month, Aries. Take that in the way that it feels appropriate for you, but proposals can come in lots of different forms. Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands is bringing something to a point of ending. And look at that, beautiful beginnings coming in from it. Hermit and the Hanged Man. Wow. Judgment. Okay. Okay, Aries, I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to join me in the extended, I'll carry this conversation on. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you beautiful blessings for this month of May. Thanks for tuning in. You take good care. Bye for now.